Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. This is episode number 29, being recorded at 9:21 p.m. on October 12th, 2021. My name is Jeff. I am joined by my co-host, Bunk. What's going on, Bunk?
What's up, Jeff? How we doing?
Good. I see we've brought the donkey back for today's episode.
Yeah, I was going through some cards I was taking pictures of, so he was on my mind.
The donkey was on your mind. It's a little scary to say. Anyway, moving right along, we have a fantastically special episode for you guys today. Actually, PWCC reached out to us and requested to come on the podcast. So, to be honest, our response was, as long as we can talk openly about everything that happened with eBay and ask, legitimate questions, and it doesn't turn into a PWCC advertisement, we had no problems. They agreed. So we're going to be joined in a few minutes by Jesse Craig, who's PWCC's Director of Business Development. We'll be asking the questions that people want to know, and then also just providing some more information about PWCC. We are not sponsored by or make any money from this whatsoever. And then just so everybody knows, PWCC used to be eBay's largest seller of sports cards. There has since been a divorce, and PWCC has gone out on its own and formulated its own marketplace. So we'll be talking to Jesse about that shortly. With that being said, let's talk some podcast business. First and foremost, we did open the Sports Card Advantage Discord room. For those of you that would like to join, send us an email or send us a message on Instagram. info@sportscardadvantage.com is the email. SportsCardADVTG is the Instagram or Twitter handle. Reach out to us on either one of those. We'll send you an invite. Or can you look up Discord servers and ask to be invited? Do you have any idea?
I'm pretty sure you got to be invited.
Okay. I think you can, if I'm not mistaken, you may be able to search for it and ask to be invited or request to join, something along those lines. If not, just send us an email or reach out to us on Instagram. And with also one other piece of podcast business, we have 10 people as of now for fantasy basketball. We will go forward with 10 if we can't fill 2 more spots. The podcast drops on Thursday. If we don't have the spots filled if you don't send us an email by Monday, what date is Monday? The 18th? If you don't get us an email by Monday the 18th to fill those other 2 spots, we're just going to go ahead with 10. It sucks having a 10-person league, but it's all good. For those, yeah, exactly. For those of you that don't know, we're doing a fantasy basketball league, and we'll be giving away a $250 slab to the winner. So feel free. It's free to join. Send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com if you'd like to join. We have 2 spots open, or we will just go forward with 10. Last but not least, as far as the Sports Card Advantage business is concerned, is this week's secret card. We're going to be giving it away, so let me do the random here. And once again, Mr. Bunk, give me a number between 1 and 10, and don't say fucking 10 again.
3.
3, much more like it. 1, 2, and 3. This week's winner is Marvin B. That's Marvin B. Thank you very much, Marvin, for participating. I will send you an email to get your address and confirm which card you wanted, and we will get that out to you shortly. And this week's choices for secret card are a 2020 Josh Jacobs RPA out of 99, a 2020 Prism Black J.K. Dobbins auto, could potentially be a good little investment piece right there, and a 2018 Trae Young Revolution Raw. Maybe we'll do something a little different this week. Another way to enter, not only sending us an email if you'd like to enter, but if you want another chance to win, drop us a comment on Instagram or Twitter when we post the links to this week's episode. So we'll drop those links on Thursday when this episode comes out. And send us a hi or any kind of comment and the card that you want on Instagram or Twitter. That's SportsCardADVTG. Any other podcast business that I am forgetting about?
No, you just kept talking and talking, so I let you go.
Well, did you have anything to add in the middle there?
No, I don't.
Okay, well then shut the fuck up. All right. Without further ado, we will be getting into this week's interview. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to be talking to PWCC Director of Business Development, Jesse Craig, and Bunk will give you an opportunity to speak more during this interview.
Looking forward to it.
Yes. All right. All righty. We are joined today on the podcast by Jesse Craig. Jesse is the Director of Business Development for PWCC. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. So we just covered our basic intro on the podcast, and now we're going to jump into this interview. So before we start talking about some of the topics that I'm sure people want to talk about, we want to establish a little street cred for you as far as the hobby is concerned. So can you walk us through, are you a collector as far as sports cards are concerned?
I am, but I'm also not. So I'm kind of in a unique position where I can move the needle on something because of my exposure. So I collect inexpensive stuff. Honestly, the most quantity and quality I probably have is in Fortnite cards because my kids love them.
Okay.
So from a sports card perspective, I really don't have anything significant. I love cards with all my heart, but it's kind of a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Being a fellow alum, how much Justin Herbert memorabilia do you have?
0.
Oh.
I know. And I love my Ducks and I love Herbie. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think he'd be this good in the league. I had my frustrations with him at Oregon. I thought, he had 6-7 games, he'd be amazing. And then he'd have a couple bonehead games where, in college football, one loss ruins your whole season for making the championship. So that was always my gripe with him. You have a little bit more leeway in the NFL, but also the competition stuffer. So I didn't think he'd be this good, but he looks amazing.
Yeah, the Chargers didn't think he would be this good either, considering they were going to start Tyrod Taylor over him last year.
I know.
And one errant needle improved. Puncture got him the nod.
Such a weird way to get it.
So with that being said, I had some other follow-up questions if you were a collector. So I don't know if you can answer this based on influencing the hobby, but if you could have any card in your PWCC vault, so to speak, what card would that be?
Well, my favorite card. So I'm a Laker fan and a Magic Johnson fan. So the Bird Magic rookie, I think, is the coolest card in sports. The fact that his rival in the 80s, Larry Bird, is on the same rookie card as him, and it's Bird's rookie as well. And you throw Dr. J in the mix. I just think it's an amazing card. So a PSA 10 Bird Magic rookie would be my number one.
Nice. And have you ever put your hands on that card in the vault?
Sure.
Seen him come in and be able to see it in person?
Yeah, I have. It's fun. We get a hold of a lot of neat stuff in the vault. Every once in a while, something significant enough will come in where I'll pop down and check it out. But we get a lot of cool stuff coming through the door.
So the offices are on site, so you can get that phone call and pop downstairs and go see Brady auto rookie or some of that other stuff.
Yeah, the vault itself is actually the centerpiece of our building. So everything is around it or on top of it. So my office is literally on top of the vault. So I just go down this big staircase and I can pop right in the vault.
That's awesome. So with that being said, then what's the most expensive cards you've actually physically held in your hand?
Probably the 52 tops Mantle 9 that I sold to Rob Go. That, obviously I held that because, we brokered that deal privately with Rob, or the $5.2 million Lebron gold 23 exquisite RPA that we also brokered for, ironically, the exact same amount, 5.2 million.
Huh.
That's fairly amazing, and and, I mean, it's also pretty crazy. Literally over 12 to 18 months that these cards have gone from 500,000 to 10x 5 million. I mean, the jumps in the high end cards have been insane.
Yeah, it has been. I think, we saw this coming to an extent. That's why we built the vault. We saw, trading cards being the next tangible asset class. With how pervasive it is, people care way more about sports than they do art or coins. Yet those markets are much larger than trading cards. So we saw the writing on the wall. I think COVID kind of poured a little bit of gasoline on the fire. But we did see it coming. 10x in 18 months. Didn't necessarily see that.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so definitely appreciate getting some background information on you. I want to address, obviously, the elephant in the room because everybody's going to expect us to ask this question, the whole situation with eBay. Bunk and I talked about this on the podcast when it all went down. Our logic was that if you guys were doing things, quote unquote, shill bidding wise from your office, you had to be the dumbest people on earth. But obviously eBay had their reasons for doing what they did. So was there any actual evidence presented by eBay that shill bidding was going on, regardless of whether or not you had knowledge of it?
No, they haven't given us anything, still to this day. So, we're left speculating kind of like everybody else on, what the real reason was behind this, because it was kind of ironic that it happened the way it did with all the efforts we put in behind the scenes with eBay for them to try to change things to eliminate some of these bad actors and things like that happening. The bid retractions, those actually going away in the trading card category, that, we've been working on that for like 5 years now. I mean, it's been a long effort to try to get them to remove that. So there's a lot of things that we've tried to talk to them about, get them to change, get them to fix, because buyer trust and safety, and then unpaids as well, right? Like being able to actually manage the users that are bidding on these items. It's not easy on a platform that has that many users, and when it's that easy to create an account on eBay. So, we really don't know what the reason was. We thought that if there was evidence, they'd present it. We haven't seen it, so we're still left speculating.
Okay.
The Twitter conspiracy theories were how much knowledge they know about you moving to your own platform, or is that even a possibility?
Again, right? It's speculation. I don't want to say that that's a reason or not yet. Our Premier Auction's done really well. We weren't going to be on eBay for forever. That's a fact. But
so you guys were planning on gravitating off of eBay eventually anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
So was that just curious as far as from a business standpoint, why you'd move off basically the largest platform in the world? Is that, for financial reasons, or just because you had a different vision of how you wanted to move things forward?
It's kind of a combination. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't understand about working with a third party platform, things that you can't control, things you have to mold your business around that are frustrating, and you're kind of at their mercy with a lot of these things. So going to our own platform, that would make all those things go away. We would control everything. And so, the frustrations just mounted and mounted and mounted, where the fact that we're like, eventually we're going to go off of eBay. Now, look, I'll be honest, we didn't know when that was going to be, whether it was going to be in 8 months, 18 months, or 8 years, right? But we've had conversations as a company that eventually we were going to get off of eBay because we want to be able to control the entire process, clean up our operations, clean up our accounting, clean up all these things that are more difficult when you're working through a third party like eBay.
Okay. And I would imagine the bridge is ashes in the water at this point. No more plans to ever reconcile with eBay?
No, not the way that things transpired. No, they could come back to us tomorrow and ask for us to come back, and we would just say no. We're very excited about our future, being able once again to control everything. So we are full steam ahead building. Well, I mean, our platform that's live now, our monthly auction, So, we've recreated what we wanted to create, and we'll keep tweaking it and making it better. But what we've built, we're very excited about.
Awesome.
Do you want to take a couple minutes and walk us through the platform and some of the top features you got?
Yeah. So obviously, our premier auction launched in May. We've had, I think, 4 of them now. We didn't do one in June, but we've done one in July, August, September. So now we're doing a premier auction every single month. You can count on, those high-end items with 360 images, custom videos, all that every single month. And what was eBay and our bread and butter and what we built our company around is the monthly auction that we do on eBay, which is the quantity that we do, right? So we were doing 35,000 cards a month on eBay before our departure. Plus we had, all the vault marketplace was on eBay, and that was 50,000 plus cards. So now we have our fixed price marketplace that's on our own website. We have over 60,000 cards on there. So that's doing amazing. We have barely seen a fall off since we went on eBay. So even with all the eBay traffic you get, we're still selling about 70 to 80% of what we did on eBay already, which is amazing to see. So that speaks to the fact that we feel like we've captured, with all the years we've been the largest seller on eBay, we feel like we've captured the majority of the active buyers and sellers for trading cards on eBay. So the monthly auction is the new thing, right? That's the thing that we're doing a little bit differently. And this is another reason why we want to be able to control it. We don't necessarily love the idea of a card ending at a specific time and that's it, right? So on eBay, if there's a card, it ends at 7:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You as a buyer don't have an opportunity to, make another decision to keep bidding, right? So a lot of guys have, remorse when they are the underbidder, like, I would have paid another $50 for that card if I had a chance at it. I didn't think anyone would pay that much if you put in a snipe late or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So with our platform, we have now extended bidding for even inexpensive cards. So this platform itself, now people go, well, how the hell are you going to close 10,000 cards in one night then? Which is what we're going to do with our first night of baseball. And we've created these windows where from 7 to 7:30. So you have to bid on an individual card before 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Now I'm going to get into the weeds a little bit. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So you have to bid on an individual card to qualify to bid an extended bidding on it. And if you don't bid on a card that you're interested in, then you're done. You can't bid on it, right? You won't get it.
So walk through how that works. Let's say there's one of the cards we were looking at recently was a 2018 Acuna Sapphire. It goes for PSA 10, goes for $6-8 grand, somewhere in there. So let's say that card's up and the window is 7 to 7:30. If I haven't bid on that card before 7 o'clock, I am not eligible to bid in that last 30-minute window. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, you will not be able to win the card.
But then
you have to bid early.
Once we hit 7 o'clock, that's the extended bidding time. So I would imagine this functions somewhat like fantasy draft, where it goes until the clock hits 0, and if somebody else bids, the clock resets.
Correct. So I'll run down how the extended bidding works. So the biggest thing to know is get your bids in early on stuff that you want to participate in and you want to win, right? So 7 o'clock hits. Now we have a window from 7 to 7:30. In that window, if a card does not get a bid, an individual card doesn't get a bid, once 7:30 hits, then the highest bidder wins that card. It's done. That card falls off, right? So we have 10,000 cards. Let's say there's 2,000 cards that don't get bids. Those cards are going to end at 7:30. So now the clock, it starts getting faster and faster. And this is how we're going to be able to close all these items in one night, right? Without it taking till 3 in the morning. So at 7:30, so now the next window is 7:30 to 7:35. Okay. So now they're 5-minute windows. So that now they're going to get faster. So between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, there's 5-minute windows. Each window, it's the same thing. A card has to get a bid in that window to move on to the next window. So from 7:30 to 7:35, if whatever cards don't get bids, those fall off. Those will not continue to 7:35 to 7:40, right? So now we were at 8,000 cards. Now maybe we're at 6,000 or 6,200. And so now the 7:35 to 7:40 window, it's the same thing, and so on and so forth until you hit 8 o'clock, and now it gets really fast paced, and now it's 1-minute windows. So cards need to get bids every single minute to keep continuing on, right? Now, while this is all going, the auction's extending as a whole, right? But it's got a tweak to it because cards do fall off. So there's a 60-second clock that's going. So at any moment throughout the whole auction, if any card doesn't get, or if the whole auction doesn't get a bid in 60 seconds, then the auction closes. That's how it closes, right? So a card theoretically to make it to 8:15, because the window from at 8 o'clock goes down to 1 minute. It goes 1 minute windows. You'd have to get 15 bids to make it to 8:15 on a card, just from 8 to 8:15.
And do I have to bid in every single one of those windows to try to win it?
No, you don't. You do not. That's a great question, actually. You don't. So you could be the high bidder. You could bid in the 7:30 or the 7 to 7:30 window, and that card will move to the 7:30 to 7:35 window. Now someone else could outbid you. That card's going to move on to the next window, but you didn't need to bid on that card in that window because you were the high bidder. Someone bid on it, so you know it's going to qualify for the next window. So you can move on to your other cards and look at those in the meantime. And then once that next window starts, you can refocus on that card because you were outbid. And then you will, if you want to make sure you have a chance to win it, you're going to have to bid in that window, obviously.
Okay. And I'd imagine I bid early on 10 cards. Your interface, I got those 10 cards in front of me, and I have real time movement as those auctions are closing and moving to the next round.
Correct. Yeah. That's awesome. And it'll give you some it'll give you some information on hey, this card's received a bid. It's going to move to the next window. So even if you didn't bid on a card, let's say, there might be 15 guys bidding on one card, right? And maybe you're not the high bidder, but somebody bid on it outside of you. It's still going to move on to the next round. You can still bid on it in the next round because that card's still live, right? So you don't have to necessarily bid on it. Someone else can. And it'll let you know when that's happened.
And are there limits as far as, I would imagine there's got to be some sort of minimum to qualify for the monthly auction?
In what regard?
You're not having 1983 no-name rookies that go for $6 on regular their comps are $6. I would imagine those cards are not part of this process.
So the monthly auction, we have everything opens at $10, right? If a card doesn't open at $10, then we consider it confiscated. We're just look, the time and energy went to list that, and our listing fees, you'd have a net negative as a seller if we actually did a report on that card. So we just call it dead. So don't send us cards that aren't going to open at $10, basically, right? So that's kind of the threshold.
So I'm going to throw a little jab in here. My counterpart is a big Adam Dunn fan, so you guys aren't seeing a lot of Adam Dunn make it to the monthly auctions.
There's plenty of $10 Adam Dunn.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of $12 Adam Dunns.
Okay, so the next question that I would have is, obviously one of the big gripes that people have with eBay are the fees. So sure. Walk through how all that works and how potentially PWCC may be advantageous in regards to fees versus eBay.
Yeah, so we have lowered some of our fees from when we were on eBay. So a lot of our less expensive items, those fees have gone down. So if you compare what they were before and what they were now, they've gone down. Some of the middle range stuff like 3, 4, 5K, some of that stayed the same. We did create a bucket over 10K is 7%, which we didn't have before. So that went down a little bit. But what people don't realize is, hey, when you go off of eBay, yeah, you lose those eBay fees. We did have an amazing deal with eBay. So our fees probably weren't as high as people thought they were, but we need to put that money back into marketing because this is our own marketplace now. We don't have the free marketing that is eBay, right? So we're reinvesting those dollars into our company, into our marketing. We have a huge marketing spend for this. So we came through, we lowered some of our fees, and you can always take fees down in the future.
Oh yeah.
But it's really hard to raise fees, right? You get a lot more resistance when you raise fees. So we came out with fees that were similar to what we were on eBay, but a little bit less. And then in the future, we would love to get those down once the marketplace is up and running more smoothly, once we've gone through iterations and all those things. So we're excited to be able to take a look at that again in the future.
So let's walk through some specifics. With our audience, we focus on smaller stuff. We know that 99% of the people aren't dealing regularly in 5K cards. So let's take like a $200 card. If I wanted to list a $200 card or I'm buying a $200 card, what are the fees on each side and how does that all work?
So buying, there's no buyer's premium. So if you're buying a $200 card, it's $200. That's it. So our premier auction does have a buyer's premium. So that's where it could be a little confusing, but we didn't want to reinvent the wheel on the higher end auctions where everyone's used to doing that. They have it in their calculation. Things could have gotten weird if we did that. So we kind of kept that status quo. On premier, we gave back some of that buyer's premium to our sellers. But for $200 cards, I believe, let me pull up our rate sheet here. I believe it's 15%. There's some thresholds for Let's see. It is 14%. Under $200 is 14%. 200 to 1,000 is 13, and then it gets a little bit cheaper as the price gets more expensive. So, what I always tell everyone is, your net as a seller is what matters. Now, if you think you're going to net more on eBay selling yourself, where I think eBay's fees are 12.5%, up to like $7,500 or something like that as an individual seller. If you think you're going to net more doing it yourself, and you want to deal with the communication with a client, you want to deal with the shipping, you want to deal with possible returns. If you want to deal with all that, then have at it and do it yourself. But we do get paid a little bit for having to take away all those troubles. We deal with all that stuff, right? We have staff for it. We ship everything. We don't accept returns, especially on our own platform now. See, we control all that. So the BS returns that were eBay, we get to manage all of that. We've heard it all, so we know what's a real return and what isn't, and we're just not going to allow unreal returns. We're not going to allow them.
And so let's walk through, I guess, a little bit of what you guys do in that communication. So I did some reading on the website. I'm buying this. Let's say I'm buying this $200 card. I'm not paying sales tax on it because you guys are in Oregon. That's correct?
It depends on where you ship it. It's based on shipping address. So if you have a vault with us and you send it to your vault account, well, that vault address is in Oregon. So then yes, sales tax is zeroed out. Now, if you live in Dallas and you are buying a card from us and you want to ship to Dallas, you're still going to get charged sales tax just like you would on eBay, right?
Gotcha.
So it's all about the shipping address for a buyer.
Gotcha. Okay. And then how does that work? Because I know that you guys also accept offers, and you said you handle communication. Do you then pass the offer on to the seller, or you have a prearranged, like, this is what we'll accept, and then we can communicate on that offer?
So the beauty of the fixed price marketplace is you as the seller, you actually get to manage your own inventory. So you get to determine the list price, you determine the auto decline. When offers come in, it comes into you through our interface, obviously.
Okay.
And then you accept counter decline. But what we've removed is all the BS communication, right? All the stupid lowball, like, hey, would you take $100 for this on a $5,000 card, right? Everybody knows.
I'm that guy.
Here's my Instagram handle. Send me a note.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So there's no communicate. It's just dollars and cents, and that's all it is. So it's either, I'm going to take this offer, I'm going to counter him, or no, it's not high enough. And it's that simple. But you as the owner of that card, you manage that.
Okay.
If I buy a baseball card off season and I decide I'm going to vault it and wait till spring training and then try to list it through you guys, but then I decide now I want the card shipped to me, am I then going to pay the sales tax 3 months later? Correct?
No, you won't pay the sales tax. You'll pay a fulfillment fee. So basically, we can't be a hub to skirt sales tax, right? So if you're gonna use it based on the laws and send it into your vault, that's fine. But if you're going to fulfill it in a couple months, there's going to be a small fee associated with it, depending on how long it's been in there, and the insurance. If you have a vault promo, there's certain fulfillment fees out of that, and it's usually 1% or less. So it's much less than sales tax if you do want it back. But then if you keep it in the vault and you sell it through us, then obviously you never had to pay any of that, right?
Okay.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to a couple of other lines of questions here. We're big data. At least I'm a big data guy. We look at charts all the time. Definitely know that, you guys coming off eBay takes, as from what you said, about $80,000 cards a month out of the data. So my question is there plans to start integrating your sales with Card Ladder, with Market Movers, Card Hedger, some of those platforms that are charting, card prices?
100%. So we're doing a complete redesign of what was our market price research tool. That should be out in the coming weeks. And you'll see it on, whoever wants to plug into our API and take our sales data. We know how important data is for the market, and we want, and sales, we know taking us off of eBay and taking those transactions away, it hurts the knowledge of the industry to know what something's worth. So we're very aware of it. Obviously, we had to get this monthly auction up and running, so that was a lot of our focus. Yeah. But data is right there as well, and I'd say in the coming weeks you're going to see that page live on our site. And also, we've already talked to a couple of partners about an API connection with the data.
Okay. And speaking of data, looks like your sold data hasn't been updated since August of 2021. Once again, I was trying to look around and potentially buy something off PWCC, and I'm like, I don't see anything that's been sold in the last 2 months. So where's the data?
Yeah, all the data is just, like I said, it's on pause because we are redoing the look and feel and the UI of that. So once that's done, all that data is just going to be populated back to the website, and it'll retroactive back to when it was shut off.
So hopefully by mid-November, you guys will be up and running. You'll provide an API, and we'll start seeing your inventory and volume hit some of these platforms.
Correct. I will be very disappointed if our page isn't up by mid-November. Let's put it that way.
Okay, awesome.
Very good.
So I will ask another question. HGA has been a hot topic on our podcast. We have a little bit of differing opinions as far as the quality of their service, and I see that you guys do not accept HGA submissions. Is there a reason for that, or is there a plan to start accepting any of those in the future?
We only accept third-party companies that have a track record in our market, is really what it is. In 2-3 years with HGA, maybe that'll be a different story. But we do PSA, Beckett, SGC, and CSG, and that's because of CSG. They've got comic background, they've got a lot of grading backgrounds. Their head graders came from Beckett, so they know what they're doing. Yeah. And I just think with a lot of these other startup grading companies, they just have to prove themselves. And because if there's an issue with a card or a case, we have to know where they stand and what's going to happen. And we have to know that they're able to authenticate fakes, which I know has been a problem, and things like that. So there's a learning curve that I feel like HGA and other companies are going to go through. And I think, for the right cards, their holders look great. I don't think it works great with vintage cards personally, but obviously it's more catered towards modern and kind of that flair. But look, there's a place for them in the market. We just can't sell it yet.
And speaking of fakes and all these things, let's say, obviously with every grading company, they've slabbed fakes. Sure. Has that ever been an issue as far as fakes have come in and you guys have put them in the vault, sold them, and then somebody had now bought a fake? Like, do you guys get involved in that, or do you push that liability onto the grading company?
Well, we do follow whatever the third-party company's policies and procedures are. So we would ship the card back to them, let them make the determination, and then move accordingly. But yes, we do flag stuff for sure. So we had a Jordan 10 come into the vault from a client just as a vault submission that he bought through another auction house, and it was fake, 100% fake. Fake card, fake holder, fake everything. Seriously. And our guys noticed it, they flagged it, and the guy ended up getting a refund from the auction house he bought it from. But it's things like that. We can't catch everything, obviously. It's not we're not a third-party authenticator, but we do have a very knowledgeable staff, and everything that we can catch, we do.
Okay. That's about all I got on my list. Bunk, you have anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm more interested in if we can maybe go a little more in depth on. So I've got I just registered actually a couple of days ago because I'm
okay.
Highly interested.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. I'm highly interested in the vault aspect here.
Oh, I thought you were going after a bunch of Adam Dunn cards.
Well, if I can find any, yeah. Most of them are under $10, so I don't know now. But my questions are just, I've got 25 cards in my vault. How much communication is there? Am I going to get constantly reminded, hey, there's a monthly auction coming up? Is it right off my interface that I can submit any of those cards, and it's as easy as a click of a button to put them into the next section, et cetera? Or can I, if they're in my vault, can I say, does it automatically mean that it has to be fixed price or listing, or it can just sit there as well?
No, so we basically design the vault and the user interface for you to manage your collection or portfolio from anywhere in the world with a click of a button. So if all your assets are in there, they're all digitally archived, they all have a market value associated with them, they're all fully insured and safely stored. Well, you can leave them in there for 5 years and not even touch them or even look at it. You can do that, right? Or you can go in there and you can go, oh, I'm going to check this one, and this one. I'm going to send that to the monthly auction. This one. I want to put up fixed price. You set the numbers. Okay, and these two I want to put in Premier. Let me see if they qualify, and you can send them to Premier. So you manage all of that once the inventory is in there. Obviously, with how many cards we have in our vault, I think we're almost at 400,000 cards now. I don't know how we could ever help someone manage their own portfolio, so we leave that up to you guys to do that. Yeah.
So with that actually leads me to another question as far as your monthly auction. Have you seen any sales data in comparison as far as prices on where auctions are closing on PWCC versus eBay?
Well, we haven't had any monthly auctions close yet.
Okay.
So we don't have any data on that. There's still, I think, 11 days left before our first closing, which is the 24th. Yeah. So 10 days, 11 days. So we'll have a lot more data here in the next, 2 weeks on how the monthly auction performed. And look, it's our first auction. There might, we've heard from people, maybe there are going to be some good deals in there. Some people have that opinion. Other people think there's gonna be a ton of attention on it and stuff's gonna go crazy. So there's probably gonna be a mix with 40,000 plus cards. Not everything's gonna set a record number, right?
Yeah.
But we will have some amazing sales. But there might be some good deals in there as well. So I encourage everyone to get in there and at least check it out, get a flavor for it. I think our dev team did an amazing job with the user interface. And like I said, this is our first crack at the monthly auction. So we want the feedback. We want the information from the people that are actually using it on how we can make it better moving forward. And we've already received some of that feedback. And there's already changes we've made while it's live in the last 7 days. So, we're very serious about making changes and making them quick.
All right. Bunk, you got anything else?
No, that was fantastic. Just the overview of what I can do with my cards and how easy it can be is just great knowledge.
Good.
All
A
right.
lot of people are just going to be scared, like, it's just too much, just too much. I can't. So I need it easy.
It is. It's really simple. When you sign up for a vault, you get a unique vault account address, and anything that you send in, or you can buy something straight off of even eBay and ship it straight to your vault, and that zeroes out the sales tax too, coming to us because it's all based on shipping address. And so literally, it arrives, we receive it, we open everything under camera. So we have 65 cameras in our facility. So everything, we have a video record of every single package that's ever been opened. So we've had people trying to get scammed on eBay, and we have a video record to be able to send them to show them, like, oh, hey, like someone bought, speaking of Fortnite cards, someone bought a Black Knight Hollow PSA 10 for, it was like 13 grand, right? Well, that card came in and it was a baseball card that was like $7. So we were able to provide him the video to give to eBay to get a refund. And that same seller tried to do that with 2 different people. So we had to do the same thing with 2 different guys. This baseball card showed up in their vault and they're like, I didn't buy a baseball card. And we went back and looked at the tracking and it correlated to a Fortnite card that he had bought. And so then we're able to send him the video and take care of everything. But everything's open under camera. It'll get imaged, it'll get titled, it'll get priced, it'll just pop up in your vault. You'll see it going through what we call the curation process. And then once it's fully curated, that's when you can move it accordingly, sell it, leave it in there, or do whatever you want.
And that email I just received that says, here is your vault address, that is how I would submit anything I want directly to you.
Yep. And that's how, when we get it in, it's got that name and unique number next to it. So we know it goes in your vault. Correct.
Very cool.
Yep.
Anything else you want to ask, Bunk?
No, sir.
Jesse, we'll give you the floor. If there's anything you want to promote, or actually, no, I'm gonna throw one more thing at you. Do you have any promo codes or discounts or anything that you can offer the people that are listening to this podcast as far as like incentives or things that they can do to work with PWCC or sign up with them?
For sure. So we actually have a free vault until the end of the year. So the way that works is you can submit items to the vault. You will get charged $0 for life. And the only way you ever get charged anything is a 1% fulfillment fee if you remove it and don't sell it through us. So you can send as much stuff as you want, and we'll cover all the shipping, or we'll cover all the insurance, the storage, all of that. And if you leave it in there for 3 years and you decide to remove it, there's going to be a 1% fee. But that's just for us to recoup some of that expense that we had to insure it that whole time and store it and do all those things. So that promo is amazing, and that's going on until the end of the year. And then obviously, like we talked about, the monthly auction is going to be different and unique. It's live right now, so go check it out. And I think everyone's really going to like it. But make sure you read up on how the closing works. We're going to have some videos that come out next week, kind of a tutorial that I think will help a lot. But yeah, check out the monthly auction for sure.
Awesome. And then now I will give you the floor. If there's anything else that you want to promote or push, or take whatever time you need to talk about anything else that you may want to talk about.
Really, it's the monthly auction. For years we've heard everyone's frustrations with eBay, and we believe we've built a platform to replace that, and we'll be making some tweaks to it and some changes to it. But check it out, support it. If you're frustrated with eBay and the buyer vetting that we now control all of it. Max bids. We have Tech Heads, a company that firewalls off max bids, so no PWCC employee, contractor, or affiliate has any visibility to that. We have another cybersecurity company that's validating their process, and they're going to actually put a report on their website every month. So we're taking security very seriously, buyer safety very seriously, and unpaids very seriously. So if you're tired of the old eBay adage, then pop on over to our monthly auction and check it out.
All right. Once again, Jesse Craig, Director of Business Development for PWCC. Jesse, been a true pleasure to chat with you the last half hour.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty, and we are back. Special shout out and thank you once again to Jesse Craig, Director of Business Development for PWCC. We really appreciate the time, and thank you for joining us once again. We're going to move right along here in the podcast and kick it over to Bunk. We're talking this week's investments, and I believe Bunk wants his own little segment. He nicknamed this segment Bunk's Guide to Offseason Baseball. So this is going to be the first installment of Bunk's Guide to Offseason Baseball, even though it isn't officially off season yet. It is for most teams, so that's when we're going to be starting to buy baseball. So who is on the agenda for this week's edition of Bunks?
It's a very raw segment, sir.
It's very raw. You're still working on it.
Very, very raw.
All right.
Now this week, so I got a list of about 10 guys that I'll be looking at over the off season, and I just picked one at random today. We're looking at CJ Abrams. And CJ Abrams is one of the top shortstop prospects in all of baseball.
Card ladders or market movers to pull up charts?
Not on either, sir.
Really?
Not on. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that. Card ladder didn't surprise me. I figured market movers, everything I've typed in over the last.
Yeah, there's CJ Abrams in market movers. Which one are you looking at?
I typed it in today. It didn't came up.
Did you spell it right?
Chart again.
Did you spell it right? Which card are you looking at?
Yeah, I spelled it right. So let's look at his 2019 Bowman Chrome Refractor.
All right, hold on. So they have Bowman Draft and Bowman Draft Sapphire. Those are the only two that they got.
Right.
Okay.
Does the draft say first Bowman on it?
It does, yeah.
There you go.
Is that what we want?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't have SGC. I'm talking SGC today, guys.
Well, I'll bring up a chart. They have yeah, they do have SGC. Maybe I got it. Let's see if we got it here. Yeah, they got it. They got a couple of these. SGC 10. You're looking at $35.
Yeah, I mean the most recent one I saw was $40.
Okay.
In fact, if we ran a little long tonight, I was going to buy one right on the show tonight. So I got my eyes on that one, but. What I noticed was I'm always looking at the Bowman Chrome first refractors of guys. They're shiny. I like them. People go for them.
So yeah, I have it pulled up on the screen for the 7 of you that watch us on YouTube.
So raws are going anywhere between $20-$30. You catch an auction at the right time, maybe even a little cheaper. So I was like, well, if raws are $30, what's an SGC 10? So I randomly looked that up and found, to my surprise, $35 to $40 on the SGC 10. So I decided that I'm gonna go after something that says 10 on it, kind of like how PSA succeeded. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Abrams 10. That's just $10 more than the raw price.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the cost of grading it's gonna cost you more than that, so you might as well buy the 10 instead of trying to buy it raw and grade it.
Yeah, the work's done. The work's done. Listen, he's one of the top prospects, right? And obviously that's exactly what he is, a prospect. So a lot can go wrong, but. Tatis being played in the outfield wasn't just to protect his shoulder. They know they're sitting on this chip in the minors, and if this kid can play shortstop at the big league level, there's no room for him if Tatis is in the infield. So that experiment in the outfield, definitely they had Abrams on the mind. So might get to see him a little bit in 2022. If not, I would imagine definitely by 2023. But the hype will be building as everyone will be wondering when he's coming up next year. So
well, if Tatis plays outfield next year, who's going to be the starting shortstop for the Padres? I mean,
out of spring, I don't know. I mean, he's still young enough where they might not want to start the clock on him yet. So
gotcha. All right, and is he known for power, glove, a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. More is speed than anything else. More is speed. I think the power is going to come. He's shown some flashes of it, but if you look at his home run numbers, they're not fantastic. But he hits for average and he can run.
Is he taller than 5'10" is all I need to know.
Is he taller than 5'10"? I'm going to have you look it up, but if I had to go out on a limb, I'm going to say he's 6'1", 225.
Well, that was a Wander joke right there for you that you completely bricked on, but...
No, I know what a joke was. Wander was pretty damn good if you ask me. And by the way, he's on the off-season list.
Yeah, I will apologize for bad-mouthing Wander. He has proven me wrong in a big way. Hit a Wander dong last night, even though the Rays lost and are out. But Wander's definitely looked pretty damn good since he got called up.
Yeah, high shooting percentage. Bad-mouthing the number one overall prospect.
Yeah, gotta go against grain sometimes.
Let's see if your boy Jason becomes the number one prospect one day.
Yeah, his cards definitely have taken a bit of a beating lately.
Well, have you looked at his? So people are already going nuts comparing his small sample size minor league numbers to Wander's at the same level, same age. And I can tell you, Jason strikes out a hell of a lot more than Wander did at his age.
Yeah, definitely. And
not a good sign.
That's what I said. His cards have definitely taken a bit of a beating, and they were all the rage for a bit and have cooled off quite a bit, and will probably continue to do so in the off season.
Yeah, I mean, keep an eye, because if nothing else, if he can be mediocre and the New York hype train keeps it going, you can still make money on him.
Yeah, and for those of you that aren't sure who we're talking about Jason Dominguez, the highly touted prospect for the Yankees. All right, anything else about Mr. CJ? These cards pretty easy to acquire in the SGC 10 format on eBay, because it doesn't look like there's been a whole lot of sales over the last year.
No, I mean, I don't know how many there are, guy.
Well, isn't that part of what you're supposed to do for show research?
No. Why do I have to provide you with how many are on eBay at this current second?
Well, if those...
There's one ending in an hour. That's all you need to know.
Well, by the time this comes out, that auction will be over by a day and a half.
Yeah, and I'll own the card.
That's very selfish of you, sir. We're supposed to be providing a service and information for the audience.
Well, they would miss this one anyway.
Yes, this is true. Well, I'm going to look it up for them.
Nah, there's a 10 up, there's a 9.5 up, and there's a 9 up right now.
Yeah, so it looks like the one that's ending in 32 minutes, that's at $23. There's an auto, which is more expensive, obviously. And then, some guys trying to get 199 or best offer, so obviously you want to look at your comps before making an offer. Yeah, so it looks like there's a bunch of them up here, a lot of best offers. $80 are best offer, probably your best bet to go after to get that price down to someplace that's close to comp.
Yeah, and there's been 20 or so over the last month sold, so.
Yeah, so it looks like there's plenty available if it's something you'd like to go buy. Any other Bunk's off-season guide to baseball buying players you'd like to discuss this evening?
No, Raw segment.
Raw segment.
CJ Abrams, first guy to look for.
All right, you gotta work out some bugs for next week. All right, we got basketball, we got football. We're gonna try to cover this fairly quickly. So we'll talk football first. I'm not even gonna bring up charts, just some observations for people. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson both seem to be playing well, and their cards are still going down, even their non-base cards. I like where both of them are right now as far as where they are in the charts. Both of them, especially Lamar after last night. I got to imagine his cards are going to spike a little bit, but even still, you can still get some really the Lamar Optic Hollows PSA 9s for less than $200. Base 9s you can get for less than, base Prism 9s you can get for less than $100. And then on the Burrow stuff, you can get a silver PSA 9 for $300 or so dollars. His market, for some reason, people aren't buying the hype train, but if you look at the way he's playing good football. The Bengals are in every game that they're playing, and they have a chance to make the playoffs. Burrow gets
all I see on Red Zone is Jamar Chase catching touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean him and Jamar have rekindled their college days, and they almost beat the Packers, and once again the Bengals have a good shot of making it to the playoffs. And if Burrow leads the Bengals to the playoffs, definitely going to be a ton of hype around him. So I definitely think that you can still get his stuff relatively cheaply. And, I think that there is some tremendous upside potential. With that being said, we'll talk about Jeff's guide to preseason basketball, and the one player that I will present for you. Once again, for clarification, this information is coming from an actual reliable basketball source and not me. I am just presenting the information, but we will talk about R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett going into season 3, plays for the Knicks, major market. His stats have gotten better every year. The Knicks have gotten better every year. Made the playoffs last year. Definitely have a good shot to make the playoffs and continue to get better. With him being in the New York market, it is definitely more opportunity than some of the small market guys. He still has a couple of very affordable cards. His Optic Holo 2019 Optic Holo PSA 10 has a pop of 350. It's going for like 175 to 200, and then his Prism Silver PSA 9 going for $94. The pop on this definitely a little bit higher at $13.50, but this card saw a high of $300. So basically 3x where you can get in at. So definitely some opportunity as basketball starts up, and see how good the Knicks are. And one point of clarification whenever we talk about some of these investment opportunities, usually it's more around the player than the cards. There are definitely sometimes where we mention specific cards, but a lot of times we stick to the basic sets, Optic, Prism, Mosaic, just because it's just easy to find data on this stuff and chart it out so that we can see where the trends are. But that doesn't mean you can't look at some of the other parallels, look at some of the other other sets. Just look at the charts, see if they match up, see if where things are trending, so that you can make decisions. But as I said, a lot of times we look at players and not necessarily specific sets, but we use these as good examples because there's plenty of data on them. Anything you'd like to add for basketball, Bunk?
No. We got to ask your reliable source about this guy, Ben Simmons, I keep hearing about.
So the latest rumor on Ben Simmons is that he's going to be back in Philly. He was supposed to be gone, and now he may be back. So
no, he's back. For those who don't know, I'm in the Philadelphia area. So if I put on sports talk radio in the Philadelphia area, all I've heard for the last 2 weeks is F Ben Simmons. Screw this guy, get rid of him, he sucks. So that's all I've heard for the last 2 weeks on the radio.
Yeah, well, he reported, surprisingly, to camp, and they're just not sure whether or not they're going to be able to trade him. They want a haul for him, and it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to get it.
Well, from what the talking heads say, he has a negative trade value.
Yeah, well, I mean, for those of you that don't know, Ben Simmons basically shit the bed in the playoffs last year, and that really, Sixers had a chance to go to the finals, and Simmons, bricked hard and could not shoot his way out of a wet paper bag, and basically that's why, so his card values definitely tanked in the offseason, but once the trade rumors started to swirl, people got excited about where he might wind up. They talked about Golden State, they talked about the Lakers, they talked about a whole bunch of teams that would shoot him straight to the top as far as potentially winning a championship. So his card values have bounced back a bit. Once he lands, we'll definitely talk more about it. With that being said, do you want to talk about your other potential person that you don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole as far as their card value that also resides in Philadelphia?
Oh boy, did I mention it this week?
You did mention it this weekend.
Oh, you mean your boy Jalen Hurts?
My boy Jalen Hurts, yes, that is correct.
Yeah, he looks awful.
I will I will stand by a hold on Hurts right now, because what he may not be doing with throwing the ball is making up for with his legs. He still ran for 2 touchdowns. He still put numbers on the board. Eagles are not completely out of playoff contention, and this is his first few games. I mean, I don't count last year. He played 2 games last year, or in 2 games last year.
Yeah, he's fine. I mean, listen, he's not awful. I'm just a bitter Giants fan who hates the Eagles.
Yep. So I'm holding. If you're in on Jalen, I'm holding. I would not be acquiring large value pieces right now, like high dollar pieces. But if you're already in on him, I would be holding. His stuff is going down, but I wouldn't be panic selling quite yet. Speaking of panic selling, why don't we go to this week's hot take, and we will talk about Patty panic selling. Give us a little rundown on what we're seeing on the Patrick Mahomes market.
Well, let's first talk about how they're 2-3 and in last place in their division.
Yep.
And I think it's in, God forbid, Mahomes only throws 2 touchdowns in a single week. People go berserk. But because of card we had got graded, we were in on the market for a while and had we're following it every day, and then. Yeah, I think you mentioned it even last week. We went back and looked, and we're talking $1,000 drops on 2 of his main rookie card 10s.
Yeah, and to just to fill people in, one of the other things that Bunk and I do in sports card space is we look for raw cards that are grade worthy, send them out, get them graded, and we got incredibly lucky. We were able to buy a 2017 Patrick Mahomes Optic Hollow. Got it graded, came back PSA 10. We sold, I think if you look at the charts, our card was the recent high. We sold it for $4,900 at auction on eBay, and now if you look at it, they're going for less than $4,000. And then the 2017 Prism Silvers are going for about $1,000 to $1,500 off their highs, which are normally $8,900 to $9,100, and some of those are going for less than $8,000 now. And it definitely seems like people are panic selling Mahomes, which is the dumbest thing ever. Yeah.
I mean, listen, you need cash. I mean, I guess you get rid of it, but
I mean, in our opinion, if you have the opportunity to buy anything Patrick Mahomes, and you can get it at a discount, because somebody wants to panic sell it, grab it. He's 20.
Listen, they got Washington, Tennessee, the Giants, the Packers coming up. All get healthy, pad your stat. Maybe 4 wins for the Chiefs. They're going to be rolling again, catching the Chargers maybe.
Yeah.
The price is going to jerk right back up.
Yeah, Chiefs win 4 games, and he puts on a clinic out there. I mean, granted, their defense. I mean, and for card values, their defense can't stop anybody. So, for card values, if they're in shootouts every week and he's throwing touchdowns
50 times a game.
Yeah. His card values are going to jump back up. So this is a public service announcement that if you can get your hands on discounted Patrick Mahomes and you have the budget for it, I would 100% jump in on that. We saw as we were doing research for PWCC, we saw a PSA 9 Mahomes on PWCC's marketplace for $1,600. Silver. Those normally go for there was no base that year, I don't believe. Those normally go for $1,900 to $2,300. So I mean, getting it at $1,600 or potentially even offering a little bit less than that if you got the dough, I don't think you'd be sorry on that in about 3 or 4 weeks. You'd easily be able to make 30%, on that card.
And he's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he is Patrick Mahomes. So keep your eyes open for any deals on him, and especially if you're looking to long-term stash. I mean, to put things in perspective, he's 26, Tom Brady's 44. That's 18 years. Granted, I don't think Mahomes plays till he's 44, and I don't think Mahomes has ability to put up Brady type numbers without his ability to scramble, but you got to figure Mahomes plays for 10 more years and, has multiple opportunities to win additional championships, put up crazy yards, crazy touchdowns. So figure that if you can buy it now for a discount, it may be the last time that's going to happen.
Yeah.
One other public service announcement that I'd like to throw out there is, once again, be careful buying stuff too soon, and that includes getting in on Razes. I saw a Raz for a Zach Wilson Origins auto that was going for $150 a spot, 10 spots. I mean, this person's charging $1,500 to get in to win this card, to put things.
Card comp for?
What's up?
What's the card comp for?
I mean, I don't care what a comp's for right now, but the comparison is, to put things in perspective, a 2020 Justin Herbert Origins auto is going for $600 right now. So this card is going to be worth less than half. I mean, because I don't think Zach Wilson's going to put up anywhere near the fucking numbers that Justin Herbert did last year. So more than likely, this card's going to be worth a third of the value in 6 months.
It's going to be worth the spot to get in.
Yeah, exactly. You may be able to, if he doesn't play as well, you may be able to pick it up for $150 to $200 in 6 months. So
yeah, I mean, again, so there's two takeaways here. The one is, it's not a bad Raz if the card's actually selling for approaching $1,500. So it is what it is. Your prerogative to get in it or not. But the other takeaway is, okay, well, I'm trying to buy or win a $1,500 card. What is it really realistically going to be worth?
Yeah, unless you're going to flip it immediately.
Which they probably would.
Yeah, if you can, great. I mean, because obviously if you're in for $1,500 and you can get $800 for it or $900 or whatever it is, you're still making a really good amount of money. But if you're a Zach Wilson fan and you're like, yeah, I'm going to hold this, so it's once again just an advisory to do your homework. I mean, I'm looking at a Zach Wilson patch auto right now that's going to close for cheap. It's currently at $208 with 17 minutes to go. So, just be really, really careful with everything. Even there's a Zach Wilson orange out of 75 that's at $152 with a day to go. I mean, that thing's not going to hit anywhere near $1,500. So there's people out there that are greedy and, trying to take advantage of people that don't know the marketplace. So just, once again, be careful, and especially with the new products, know what your values are and know what your values can be. So if you're looking to hold it, if you win it, look at what last year's product did with some of the, quarterbacks, the Burrows and the Herberts, see what those values are. All right. We got one more segment to talk about, and then Peanut Gallery is all directed at you there, big guy. So we're gonna do Slab Wars right now.
Nice.
It is a popular segment for those of you that don't know what Slab Wars is, because you're new to the
stock grading companies.
Yes, we are going to compare grading companies. We take two cards and we talk about prices of those cards as far as what they sold for on eBay, and we try to line them up so they're around the same day. So with basketball, coming up, we will talk about one of the more popular rookie cards to acquire. It is a 2003 Topps LeBron James. We do have pricing for all three companies and HGA. So that's PSA, BGS, SGC, and HGA. This was on October 8th. So the HGA 9.5 comes in last place at $1,100. The SGC 10 is next, closing at $1,950. The $1,950 was at auction. There was another one that closed best offer at $2,950. So once again, that person did not do their homework as far as SGC values. BGS 9.5 closed at $2,050. And the PSA 10 is at $4,600. PSA 10 more than 2 times the value of all the others. You could literally buy one HGA 9.5 and actually I can buy an SGC 10 and a BGS 9.5 for less than the cost of one PSA 10. So this begs the question, are these slabs begging to be cracked and resubmitted? If you can, like, do you take an SGC 10 for $2,000, crack it and send it to PSA 10? $150, you're in it for $2,200, $2,300 all in. You still have $2,000 worth of potential.
Yeah. I mean, if we're cracking cases, we might as well crack the HGA. We could have a shot at $3,500.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, give me the SGC 10 over the HGA 9.5, right?
But why?
I mean, well, unless it's a quad 9.5 with some 10s.
To be fair, because SGC is actually respectable and it puts a 9.5 in their repertoire of grading, I will agree with you. Yes, correct the 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, we've talked about this before, and we'll continue to talk about just the grading discrepancy. And people are like, well, you're buying the card and not the slab, and I just fuck that.
No, but people are buying the company is what they're doing.
Yeah. You're buying the reputation of the company grading the card. And then fairness, there hasn't been a BGS 10 that has not sold since April, and that sold for twice what the PSA 10 sold for. That was about $8,000.
Exactly.
Well,
because the PSA 10 is like a 9.5.
no.
But it says 10.
Yes, it says 10, and that is important to people. So, I mean, it seems to be that the gap is widening. I mean,
that's definitely true.
I mean, it used to be on some of the higher end cards that we've looked at in the past, SGC was 60%, 70% of the value. Now it's 40%. Maybe a little bit more than 40 to 50%. So I got to imagine that people are already doing this pretty frequently and will continue to. And as PSA lowers their prices, I think that people will do it more. The only thing that you have to be very wary about is the PSA 9s on this. If you do not get a 10, you are fucked. You're going to lose about $1,000. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind. The PSA 9s are going for about $1,100 to $1,200 on these. So if you crack an SGC 10 that you paid $1,950 for, you paid $150 to get it graded, you are looking at losing about $1,000. So it is definitely 100% a risk, but there's a lot of temptation there.
Maybe we can get some sold for data from Lowe's and Home Depot on tile cutters.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do to edit it next week.
Why don't we get that up on a chart for me?
Yeah, the dynamite.
See how messed up these population reports really are.
Yeah.
I can't even look at a population report anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting because you have to figure that there's a ton of people out there that are doing this because there's so much profit that's available. And then we'll take a look at one other lower level. It used to be, as we've done this over the past few months, that on some of the lower level cards that the gap was a lot tighter. But that seems to also be widening. We're going to look at the 2020 Prism base Justin Herbert. I figured, he's obviously having a great season so far. This is from October 5th and October 6th. HGA, once again, coming in last. HGA 9.5 at 180. BGS 9.5 at 233. SGC 10 at 275. And a PSA 10 coming in at 625.
Jesus.
So, once again,
3 times the HGA 9.5.
Yeah, let's look at some math here. So that's 44% SGC 10 to PSA 10, and then let me look at the other one. and LeBron is 42% of the PSA 10. So it's basically a 40% value. I mean, the only difference is, buying the lower end cards. Buying the lower end cards like the Herbert, it's $150 to get it graded at PSA right now. So if you're off, you're going to wind up way upside down, which is why a lot of people are going SGC. But unless this thing starts to balance out, I'm still making the argument that once PSA goes back to a $50 price point, SGC, HGA are fading fast.
Going away.
They're not going to go away, but they're going to fade. Why would you submit to a grading company that is the card's going to be worth 40%, 45% on a good day of what you could get at PSA 10 if you only have to spend another $20?
Because not everybody's looking to flip it.
But why would you?
And who cares? Maybe I like a slab better than the other slab.
Yeah. Which is fine, but why not? I mean, in case of emergency, in case of emergency, I need to sell these things. I'm gonna have something that's worth half of what I could have had.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know, but anyway.
I mean, if the PSA goes to $50 and everyone sends there again, we're gonna be back in a 12-month backlog again because they're not hiring any more people. I mean, it's gonna be a disaster if they go to $50.
Yep, I would not disagree with that. But we'll see. We'll see that the rumors have been that somewhere in Q4 that the $100 price point's coming. So we are 2 weeks into Q4. So let's see if
we're already seeing it now. I showed you today. We got that Mahomes back between date received and date shipped. What was it? 8 days?
Yeah, it was less than 2 weeks.
It was barely that. And then now we have another one out right now, and it's been what's today? Well, it's already been 9 days.
Yeah.
And it's not through all the quality checks yet.
Well, so we're anticipating that any day now, so I don't know how much of a delay that's been. We'll find out when we get it.
I had it shipped. It was already shipped in that last period.
Oh, okay.
They're definitely days behind now compared. Now that was when we sent the first card. That was at the $200 level. This is the $150. So what my point is, I think they're already seeing an uptick.
Yeah, I mean,
like a bigger uptick.
I would agree. I mean, $50 is 25% of that $200 price point. So I would be sending as much as I could afford and whatever made sense to PSA. So I think that as the price continues to drop, the weight's gonna go up. But I think right now we're nowhere close to 30 business days before we're gonna get this back. So that's where you're at with everybody else. So I think that we'll see, and they'll have to juggle that. If they go down to 100 and all of a sudden there's a backlog, they'll probably shut that down. And stay.
Right, so then SGC and HGA are going to get fed again.
Yep, that's true. So
now if PSA can come at you and handle it and get crap back to you when they're supposed to at $50, God bless them, and then they're going to crush it.
Yeah, and then it's over.
because I can't argue it. I mean, I don't like them, but I can't argue the resale value. We just gave evidence. There's evidence for miles why they're superior resale value.
Yep, absolutely.
Why, but it's there.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to beat this dead horse just because the data is there, and it's information that you guys need to know and be equipped with. So as we'll cover this every 2-3 weeks and come up with different examples, different sports. So that you can continue to see any of the discrepancies. And to be honest with you, we'll probably start once CSG starts to pick up steam a little bit. We'll add them in. CSG is going to be the grading arm of Fanatics in some capacity because the same investment company that Ruben's tied to owns CSG. So you got to figure that they're going to be tapped to get involved. So they're just, unfortunately right now, they're just not popular enough to have data on some of the cards that we look at. But as time goes on, I'm sure they will become more popular once money starts getting pumped into advertising for them.
Yeah, I can't get over their slab appearance.
It's awful. It's a freaking fourth grade art project.
And again, I'm being a hypocrite because I care more about the condition of the card. So, but I gotta draw the line somewhere. I mean, it's that ugly.
Yeah, I mean, people love I guess the quality of the glass, or plastic or whatever it is. That that's what the only redemption that I've heard. So I mean, you never know
I
when.
can't comment on that. I've never held one, but I'm just going by the look of it.
Yeah. But I would have to think that as they get taken over by people that have been involved in you know projects like StockX, the guy that's going to be running the Fanatics sports card venture, he built StockX, and I would have to think that once he gets involved, things may change. Designs may get improved, and see what happens. Anyway, last but not least, Peanut Gallery. It's all you, buddy. We got a question from Paul S. I believe he listened to the Philly show episode where you were talking about flipping through dollar boxes. His question is, how did you get into dollar box cards? What do you do with dollar box cards? And other than a show, where can you potentially get them cheaply? And no, I did not write this question. This comes from Paul S. Paul, as you may remember, is the gentleman who emailed us that he's been out of the hobby for 25 years and has just been getting back into it. So that's his question for you this week.
I'm trying to think how I don't want to go into a long-winded story, but
well, I've been doing most of the talking today, so why don't you pull your weight here and chime in?
Well, I think it's different because when I fell in love with collecting cards, I was a kid and I had no money. So, if I was buying cards as a kid or through my whatever you call it, your early childhood and then your teenage years and stuff, allowance money, birthday money, you're still not buying. I wasn't buying high-end cards and crazy boxes. If I happened to get a big hit, then I had so the main parts of my collection were lesser value cards. So then it's like, okay, well, what do you do with those? I mean, I like looking at them. I like to read in the back of that, but I get it nowadays. It's about everyone cares about the money. Like you won't collect dollar bin cards. You mocked me the entire time I was sitting there. Going through
I'm just thankful they had a chair nearby so that I could sit down. I mean,
I like to put together sets. Like I remember I was away, even in college when I was living away from home for years. I ended up bringing my entire collection with me to my apartment, and I continued collecting in my early 20s. Is when I first made my eBay account, and then that's when I really got into, because I was into the internet component, the early Beckett.com days, where you could go on, I was trading all the time. So I was trying to build sets more than anything else. So I was completing, 400 card sets, and the majority of those cards in a 400 card set are a couple bucks a piece. So I like looking at them. I like looking in the binders in my complete sets.
And with that being said, I mean, do you see that anymore today? Like 2020 Topps Chrome Baseball. Do you see anybody that collects the full set? And or, from my point of view, as far as the business end of this hobby, is there value in trying to collect a modern set for resale?
I mean, probably not, because the number of boxes you'd have to buy to complete a set is absurd these days, and the price points are too high. I know some of your bigger breakers and online presences in the hobby. They open so many cases. You see every now and then on Twitter, you'll see they have set pre-sales, so they already know they're going to probably collate about 10 sets before they even rip their 50 cases, and they sell the set ahead of time. But from your point of view, are you making any money on it? Nothing you're going to waste your time building a set for.
Well, I mean, obviously you're not necessarily buying boxes, but if you're going to be at a show and you're going to flip through dollar boxes, like, are you seeing anything modern in those boxes, or is it all, older stuff, 80s, 90s, whatever else, early 2000s?
No, it was all new. Yeah, I mean, I picked out a couple. There was some mid 90s inserts that were no one knew what they actually were and were poorly priced, so I took advantage and took those out. I'm looking for things that I know might have they're only a couple bucks now, but I think they're going to be something people are going to want in the future. I think it'll blow up in the future. I am looking for weird parallels and low number things, even of nobody's. Like, I found a couple Topps camo cards to 25. I just think they're cool. They're Sandy Alcantara, but it's 25. It's a camo. It's a cool looking card, and it was $1. So I bought it.
I have no idea who Sandy Alcantara is.
Yeah, you gotta look. There's two ways of looking at this. If you're looking at going through dollar bins, I mean, yeah, you can look at dollar bins and you might find a gem in there. And here's a $20 card. I'll give this guy $2 and I'll sell it for 15. Okay, fine, you can do that. But for me, I had a purpose for every single one of those cards I bought that day. I had a purpose for all of them. So whether it was going towards, I got a couple set needs out of it, future projects I'm going to do. I don't know. It just makes me happy. None of that stuff I'm looking at. One or two of the cards, it may be something I'll hold, and as soon as the guy comes up, I'll flip it and probably make a lot of what I spent that day back. But I don't know. I don't know how else to talk about it. It's completely from a non-resale business side of things. I like those cards. I like collecting those cards. I like low number things. I like putting together little sets, whether it's catch all the catchers from that parallel or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, Bunk in his true definition is a collector. The only reason why he flips is to make money for his collection, so that he can do it with his wife's permission. He does not get an allowance for sports cards, so he has to grind that sports card money out and buy stuff, flip it, make the money so that he can buy stuff for his collection. But he is, in the true definition of the word, a collector in this hobby. I am not. I am in it for the money. I don't need to see a Sandy Alcon, whatever the hell his name is, dollar card for any reason whatsoever. I look at grown-up things in my spare time. So, but everybody's different. Everybody approaches things different. But, for the most part, the dollar boxes are exactly that. Guys are filling sets, or you listen to guys like Ryan from Collector 2. He talks a ton about spending hours in dollar boxes at shows because he can go in and find $5 cards that are worth $20 or $25. And I think a lot of guys who listen to him try to emulate that and do that. But the thing that people don't remember is Ryan's been in this business for years, 7, 8, 10 years, whatever it is. And he knows the value of these things and doesn't have to sit there with 130 open all the time and saying, oh, that's, and looking everything up. So that's just one thing to remember. If you're going to try to make some money at a show off dollar boxes, just, you got to know what stuff's worth or have a general idea, or you're going to be there a very, very long time.
Yeah, but again, to answer the question, I think he was more asking maybe, and I could be wrong, and Paul let us know. I think he was more, it was kind of like why do you, are you going to make money off that? Is the kind of how I took that question.
Yeah.
Why would you be doing it or waste your time doing it unless you're going to make money on it? And like Jeff said, I like to collect, so I'm always looking for new projects, and the best part of that day for me, I mean, the show was awesome. We met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. It was that 40 minutes I was going through that one guy's boxes. Yeah,
it was a nice time for me to rest my feet and sit on the sides because I had no interest in that. But yeah, that's what you get at shows. You got guys that are definitely digging through dollar boxes, and then you have guys that are looking for higher end stuff. All right. You got anything else you'd like to add?
No, but I think I'm going to do a video, like the story of collecting of my life.
Would we like to get Ken Burns to direct this video?
Yeah, we're inning 1.
Yeah, Jesus.
My first pack.
I'm asleep already. All right. On that note.
It was 85 tops, actually.
On that note, once again, to sum us up, thank you very much to Jesse Craig, Director of Business Development from PWCC, for joining us today. It was awesome to get a chance to talk to you. PWCC definitely biggest get for us so far as interviews are concerned. So that was awesome. And if you want to join the Fantasy Basketball League or join us in the Discord room, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram, SportsCardADVTG. Extra opportunities to get additional chances to win by commenting on our socials and sending some feedback. And 2 spots open, Fantasy Basketball League. Once again,
let's go. It's free to join. It's a free shot at $250 card.
Yeah, exactly. So get us to a real league size. Get 2 more people in, and we'll be off and running. For those of you that are in, we're going to be drafting sometime next week. I believe the season starts 21st, if I'm not mistaken. So I think
we'd have to get a draft set up next week.
Yeah, we're going to try to get a draft either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, sometime right before the season starts. So hopefully people are available. And that's it. We're good?
We good.
All right, episode 29 in the books. We will see you guys next week.